Godzilla, Gamera, and King Bowser watch the three Niborian ships, the Requiem of Nibiru, Nibiru's Might, and Guy fly away from them and the war-torn city of Honolulu. The humans, mutants, and Esper watches with them. Then their attention turns to the three monsters. In all sight to see from the normal eye, one is the king of the monsters, the other is a monster rarely seen in history, and the other is a king of his kingdom, and a communist. Three monsters that they would never see together. The sudden realization of, wait, are these monsters working together? Suddenly sinks into all who witnessed it. King Bowser's body shrinks back down to 10 feet in height. Alright, Gamera, tag me. Gamera's body shrinks and his skin mutates from reptile to human. Gamera exits the outside and Kenjiro Honda comes back out. As soon as Honda is back out, he looks at his body. Oh, sweet, my clothes are still here. Godzilla looks down at Honda, who looks back up at him. The man waves at him with a joyful smile on his face. Nice to see you again, Junior. Raygun responds with a soft grumble. He looks over to Bowser, which has his arms crossed and looking a bit annoyed.
I clearly had it within my grasp, and it got away.
Honda runs up beside him. What are you, blind? You clearly wasn't the only one.
Once again, I did not ask for you to speak. Also, why are these aliens after us? You had something to do with it, didn't you?
No. Maybe.
Whatever the case is, I'm here to fulfill my grandfather's wishes from a long time ago to the Americans.
And what would that be?
Remember that treaty I mentioned during our battle? It's time to reinstate that.
The clown helicopter lifts off from the flight deck of the King Henry down to Bowser's position.
Don't slow me down, you two.
Kind of hard to do since your fat ass has to be carried around like King Henry VIII of England in his later years.
Except I can move around better than him.
The chopper scoops Bowser in and he flies up to his flagship. Kenji looks back up at Godzilla, but the kaiju himself isn't paying attention to him. I guess you have a job to do. I'll catch up.
Memi Valizugi Zinda.
Wait, I do? Godzilla walks away from the man. As his leg moves, Honda looks off to the right. In his sights is the telekinetic Empress herself, his master. The two walks to each other. They both extend their arms out and embraces with joyful smiles in their faces. Welcome back, Kenjiro-kun. Thank you. I wish it was in different circumstances, though. The two stops hugging and looks at each other in the eyes. How's Emiko? Oh, she's living her best. Much better than I expected. Nakamura? Oh, she's all right. Wait, did something happen to her? Oh, no, she's fine. She's been looking after your sister while you were gone. Oh, that's a relief. Ahem. Mickey looks behind her and Kenji looks past her. In their sights are Mario, Luigi, Jojo, Chloe, and Eleanor. The latter's face is full of irritation. Is there something that you're not telling us? Honda walks up and stands next to his master. Sorry, this is Miki Sakusa, the telekinetic empress, and my teacher. She bows her head at the group. Nice to meet you all. It's Sensei, these are my friends. You already know the brothers, Mario and Luigi. Ciao! That's my best friend, Deadeye Jojo. Ma'am. It's the girl who I used to date, Chloe. Hello. And that's my new girlfriend, Eleanor. Nice to meet you. She looks away from them with her cheeks blushing. She's still kind of a hothead after all this time. Interesting. Alright, now that we got the introductions out of the way, let's get back on topic. She's right. We can start off by saying, what the fuck just happened? Who are those aliens? Why did they start attacking us? And why did Godzilla, Gamera, and Bowser fight together? All eyes are on Eleanor Harrington and Kenjiro Honda. This might take a minute to explain. The clown helicopter lands on the starboard bow of the King Henry. Bowser jumps out of the vehicle and sets foot on the ship's floor. He walks on the deck as the damage control teams get to work repairing and fixing damaged parts of the ship. A Koopa in a sailor suit walks up to the king.
How bad is it?
Your Majesty, the Queen Vanessa's starboard stern elevator is destroyed. There's a hole in the port amidships on this ship. The number 2 turret is damaged. 12 crewmen are dead, and 1 destroyer is, destroyed.
Have it all patched up. We're following those invaders.
Yes, sir. The petty officer walks away from the king, telling his crewmates to continue working on fixing the ship. Bowser continues walking on the deck. Edward Anderson pops out of the interior along with Kamek.
Kamek? When did you get here?
Around the time when you were getting bombarded.
Ugh, it was nothing. Anyway, do you have my speech?
Kamek reaches into his sleeve and takes out a piece of paper. He hands it to Robert, and the king goes over it thoroughly.
You misspelled Kutropolis.
What? Kamek snatches the paper from Bowser's hand. He finds the word, and he is right. It is spelled with an A. The Magic Koopa grumbles as he takes out a pencil and corrects the error. Bowser's attention turns to Anderson. So, how did it go?
How do you think?
Well, apart from all of the wounds on your body, and possibly another injury.
But I'm still alive, and I'm not dying that easily.
Well, glad to see that your spirit is in one piece.
Oh, I didn't see you helping me.
If I did, you would complain to me that I'd be stealing your glory in the spotlight.
You're just as annoying as the current Dovahkiin.
Bowser walks past Anderson and heads inside of the ship, with the man watching him.
Hal, I told you to get rid of that shirt!
Oh, come on! This thing is way too expensive! Alright, I'm getting rid of it! Edward looks away from the ship's interior. He walks to the guardrail and looks down at the ground below. He watches as Godzilla steps into the water and swim away from the shore. Flying above the clouds in the Pacific, the three Niborian ships, Requiem, Guide, and Might, are heading for somewhere away from the forces in Hawaii. Inside each of the ships, damage control teams are hard at work repairing and patching up anything that is damaged. Mechagodzilla TL Mark II is inside of the hangar of the Requiem undergoing repairs. Its weapons are being reloaded or recharged, and the mechanics and engineers are working on fixing some of the technical issues within the mech. 5 engineers are going through the machine's status in communication and combat. It can withstand a ton of punishment, but they didn't expect it to be that much punishment. Its computing is getting patched, rebooting the system. In the bridge, Commander Theldamuni is pacing back and forth in front of his seat, contemplating to himself on the events that just transpired. The Mukon? A world using our technology? A human that turns into a monster? 3 monsters attacking Tio? None of this makes any sense! His longtime friend Hez Gizuni, the captain of the Niborians Guide, is on the massive screen watching him. I think you jumped to conclusions far too easily. Thel stops in his tracks and turns to the screen. What's the status on the controller? The controller, which is inside of the Niborians Guide, is what gives Mechagodzilla its ability to act on its own and take orders from the bridge of the Requiem. The chances of it being damaged is so great that the Niborians had to install a backup. It's still in one piece, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what the population of this planet is going to think about us. They're going to think that we're conquerors. I wouldn't care what they call us. Thel, what happened to you? How did you go from a savior to a destroyer in an instant? I'm warning you that what you're doing will have our people brand you as a heretic. They will think twice when the Emperor finds out that they stole what belongs to us. Thel, I went through this planet's history. It doesn't say that these humans travel through the solar system to our planet, or what remains of our planet. Is Zero within this planet's history? I don't know. I couldn't find anything that proves Zero is on this planet. When our planet was no more, some of our tech traveled with Zero, and since there's so much of it on this planet, then that means it has to be here. Even so, we don't know if the humans will be able to let us find it after what happened. Then they are protecting Zero from us. We'll stop somewhere and set up our defense. If any human gets in our way, we'll eliminate them. But Thel, listen to me, Hez. You and I went through so much together during our time on Nibiru. From our experience, you should be able to remember one thing and one thing only. Don't trust anyone. Never hesitate and take action at all costs. Hez becomes silent by what his friend is telling him. His head lowers his disappointment. Now then, when we arrive at our new destination, we will contact Nibiru's Salvation and inform them and the Emperor of what we found. Ending transmission. The transmission ends. Inside of the bridge of the guide, Hez sits back in his seat. He puts his hand under his chin and ponders. Thel, what had happened to you? Did Zero change you that much? Or is it something else? The monster alarms goes off in San Francisco at 9 o'clock p.m. The civilians are completely confused. Most look around wondering what is going on. The anti-megalosaurus force scrambles to their positions. The soldiers tells every person on the streets to get to the monster bunkers immediately. With little knowledge, the people do what the men and women in uniform is telling them to do. One pedestrian looks out to the Pacific Ocean. She spots something getting closer and closer. A massive wave of Y-23s exits from the Requiem of the Brew to the suburbs of San Francisco. The Gunum transports follows them. They land in the Richmond and Sunset districts. The Niborian troops, armed with RG-1s and RG-3s, steps out of the transports. They immediately come in contact with the AMS 57th Infantry Regiment, who opened fire at them. They fire back, killing 20 soldiers and 11 civilians who accidentally got caught in the crossfire. Mutants within the Sunset District refuses to back down against the invaders and fights back, but they are Class D and most of them are killed in an instant. The people of San Francisco realizes the danger hanging over them and immediately runs to seek shelter or run far away from the aliens. The 3 Niborian ships stops and hovers over downtown, the Guide over the Trans-American Pyramid, the Requiem over the city center, and the Might right next to it. Their neon lights brightens up multiple streets and buildings within the area. The captains of the Requiem and Might orders the crews to set up defenses around the ships. The Niborians, who are in the suburbs, rounds up any human who dares to resist them. Their fate is unknown until they are shot in the back of their heads. Cell enters the room overlooking Mechagodzilla. His mind drifts back to the Battle of Honolulu, an important lesson he has learned. Now that we know what these beasts are capable of, we will be ready for them. Once they are defeated, we will finally be able to find Zero.